Those kids, that will never happen. The reason is because of a severe lack of funding. No child deserves to have cancer, and no child ever deserves to die from this terrible disease. Our country has to make curing childhood cancer a priority. Did you know that 1,500 kids will die this year alone from cancer? And if we continue to sit on our hands and do nothing, 1,500 more will die the next year and the next year. It has to stop. Now, some of you might be wondering, why should you care or donate? Because it's not your kid. Well, it's not until it is. My passion has become to not only fight my own personal battle, but to help raise awareness and funding for all children like me who are fighting this awful fight. That's why I decided to start doing something about it. I've made it my personal goal to end childhood cancer. Every single day in our country, 43 more kids learn that they have childhood cancer. And that's also 43 more sets of parents that have to go through what my parents have been through. But that's only in the U.S. Every 2 minutes, a child somewhere in the world is diagnosed with cancer. And every 2 minutes, a family has to hear the words they never thought they would hear. Your child has cancer. That means more siblings will have to go through what my sister Mackenzie has been through as she's watched me and supported me as I fight my battle. Many people don't understand the toll that fighting cancer takes on not just the victim, but the entire family. It's especially hard on the brothers and sisters who have to watch helplessly as kids like me fight for our lives. Those brothers and sisters still have lives to live, and people don't realize how hard it is for them. As we fight back against childhood cancer, please don't forget the brothers and sisters because they're a very important part of the story too. Kenzie, I know watching me fight cancer has been really hard for you, and I want you to know how much I love and appreciate you and your support. Could you please come up here as I have a special gift for you? Childhood cancer is the #1 cause of death by disease in children, so I began researching where I could raise money to support. I set up an online directing fundraising page with an initial goal of raising $10,000. Thanks to the amazing support of so many people and organizations, I have now raised over $157,000 to support child. Make sure there is no other cancer in my body. This always brings loads of anxiety because without any chemotherapy options left, my treatment options are very limited. I have also experienced countless side effects caused by the toxic treatments the medical community still uses to treat us kids, like extreme nausea, hair loss, nerve damage in legs and feet, heart damage, shortness of breath, hormone damage, possible infertility, ongoing digestive issues, bone and joint pain, and short-term memory loss, just to name a few. And those are just the physical side effects. The mental battle that we kids and teens face can be so much worse than the physical, and unfortunately, it often goes unnoticed by people. It's hard enough being a teenager, but it's even harder when you are constantly worried about every single bump, bruise, or pain. Things that would take my mind off the constant mental and physical pain. When I was in the hospital, I would research places I wanted to visit, knowing that many of them were just dreams and would probably never happen for me. For some reason, I was just drawn to the natural beauty that seemed to be everywhere in the country of Iceland. For some reason, I kind of put the thought in the back of my mind, but then a representative from Cal's Angels contacted my mom about granting me a relapse gift. And one of the awesome things about Cal's Angels is that they recognize how difficult relapses can be for childhood cancer victims. From a mental standpoint, relapses are much tougher to deal with than the initial treatment. Cal's Angels agreed to help fund a 5-day trip for me and my dad to Iceland. It was a trip I will never forget because not only was it incredible, but for those 5 days, I forgot that I had cancer. That's the type of gift that Cal's Angels provides to kids like me. I could never thank the organization enough for all they do, and I'm so appreciative to all of you for coming out tonight, for not only supporting this organization, but for the support you are showing all kids who are fighting this terrible disease. I have been through a lot since that first day in December of 2014. But even with all I've been through, I realize that I am one of the lucky ones because I am still here today fighting. Throughout my personal journey, I've met so many other brave kids who are fighting with everything they have. Kids like Jacob, Sophia, little Ellie, Olivia, Emma, Evie, Ava, and so many others who are battling every single day with outdated treatments that haven't really changed in the past 30 years. I also have heroic friends like Sophia and my best friend Mia, who tragically lost their battles, and I still grieve every day over losing them. It breaks my heart to see so many kids being treated with the same chemotherapy that my parents would have been treated with when they were kids. We kids are still being treated with chemotherapy drugs that were made from Agent Orange that was used as a toxic chemical during World War II. The side effects are so toxic that 2/3 of those who survive childhood cancer will face at least one chronic health condition, and some childhood cancer patients even die from the complications caused from the chemotherapy treatments and not the cancer itself. These after effects of treatment include heart damage, lung damage, infertility, memory loss, stunted growth, hearing loss, and most importantly, the development of secondary cancers. I also have friends who have beaten their cancer only to find out that the chemotherapy has caused a second form of cancer and they have to fight all over again. There was a recent study completed by Dr. Arndt from the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota who determined that with my specific type of cancer, which is stage 4 alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma, that there has been no progress in survival rates in our country over the past 50 years. Over the last 30 years, there have been only 3 new drugs approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer. That's why kids like me, who have used up all of our limited chemotherapy options, are just left hoping that our cancer doesn't come back again. That's just not fair, and we have to do better. The only way to change the lives of these kids fighting cancer is with better treatments, but I thank all of you in attendance for tonight, for supporting Cal's Angels and all the childhood cancer warriors across our country. This speech may have only been 12 minutes long, but within that time, 6 kids have already been diagnosed with childhood cancer and will be living the nightmare. Please don't let these kids run out of treatment options like I have. We have to do better, and I hope you will join me in the fight to end childhood cancer. Thank you.